Hey you, yeah you who clicked on this video. Thanks for giving our channel a shot. And if you will, please do us the honor of watching the video all the way through. Appreciate it. Now onto the video. So this is my list of the 5 best non-woke series of 2022, in particular quarter 1 of 2022. Your mileage may vary on these particular series, but because I like to watch a lot of nerdy stuff, this list really just spoke to me in the idea that it's not really using diversity, identity politics, or sexuality or anything else that really Hollywood has been using as a crutch to fall back on in the place of actual storytelling. And so, with that being said, let's get into it. So number 5 is a series from Netflix of all places called Archive 81. Archive 81 is produced by James Wan and is based off of a podcast of the same name. It was released on January 14th, 2022 and stars Momodo Athi as Dan Turner and Dina Shahabi as Melody Pendress. The story centers around an archivist who specializes in restoring old tapes, who is commissioned by a billionaire to restore and piece together the events surrounding a mysterious fire that consumed an entire apartment building, the main subject of the tapes being Melody Pendress herself, a student who is interviewing the residents of the apartment building in the year 1994. Now, Dan is told that the tapes cannot be moved, and so he must restore them in an isolated bunker in a remote part of upstate New York. As he delves deeper into the mystery surrounding Melody, he is haunted by visions and inexplicable phenomena. Now, what makes this series really special, besides the obvious moodiness of how it's set and shot, is the fact that this has a very, very diverse cast. I mean, this cast is very multicultural, and yet they don't use the particular racial backgrounds or makeup of the characters to inform on the storytelling, but rather they are able to flesh out these characters and what their motivations are and why they're doing what they're doing without falling back on any type of superficial characteristics or immutable characteristics that these characters might have. And I really found this refreshing because the way in which they tell the story really is very emotional, but at the same time, you can tell that a lot of restraint and care was shown in just telling a very, very psychological horror story. If you really like just really psychological stories with a hint of science fiction, Archive 81 is definitely going to be up your alley. Now, the reason that this is number 5 isn't necessarily because of any lack of quality or anything like that, but it is number 5 because Netflix saw fit to cancel this very popular series before its second season. So hopefully this series can find a home on another network. Definitely check Twitter for hashtags involving Save Archive 81 if you would like to see more of this series, because it definitely deserves to see parts 2 and 3, as the podcast is a 3-part series. So with that being said, let's go on to number 4. Number 4 is All of Us Are Dead. Presented by Netflix, it is a South Korean zombie drama that takes place mostly in a high school in a small town and shows the progression of a zombie outbreak from start to finish, and deals with various heavy themes such as betrayal, loss, suicide, bullying, government overreach, and the pressure put on the youth to succeed in Korean society. Now, this series is really action-packed, but yet it has a lot of very thought-provoking moments in it that really just make the series shine. I know that a lot of people were really taken with series like Squid Game, and if you enjoyed that series, I definitely say give All of Us Are Dead a shot, because it definitely has a hint of manga with a lot of just really grounded themes and grounded situations. In particular, just seeing the students prior to the outbreak and how they're really just interacting with each other, the faculty, and society in general is definitely worth a watch. Like I say, the action in this is top notch. The way that the zombies are done as far as practical effects is also really well. And there's a twist on zombie fiction that you don't often see. I'm not going to spoil it, but suffice it to say that there are more than one type of zombie in this particular story. So I definitely would tell you to watch All of Us Are Dead. It comes in dubbed and sub format. Me personally, I would say watch it subtitled. You'll probably get a lot more out of it. But hey, like I say, do whatever makes you feel comfortable. But like I say, this is a great series, and definitely it doesn't lean into the tenets of wokeness, it definitely tells a story in which you can really lose yourself in, and really just find that escapism if that's something that you're looking for. All right, on to number 3. Number 3, Legend of Vox Machina. Legend of Vox Machina is an adult animated fantasy series produced by Critical Role Productions and Amazon Studios and premiered on January 28, 2022. It's based on a campaign 1 of the Dungeons & Dragons web series Critical Role. The series stars some of the best voice talent from animation and gaming, with Laura Bailey as Vex the Half-Elf Ranger, Taliesin Jaffe as Percival DeRollo III, a human gunslinger, Ashley Johnson as Pike Trickfoot, a gnome cleric, Liam O'Brien as Vax, Vex's twin brother and half-elf rogue, Marisha Ray as Keyleth, the half-elf druid, Sam Riegel as Scanlan Shorthalt, a gnome bard, and Travis Willingham as Grog Strongjaw, a Goliath barbarian, as they adventure throughout the kingdom of Taldore in search of fame, fortune, and alcohol. Now, this series is absolute fun. There is so much fun to be had with this series. Not only is the animation just amazing, I mean, on invincible levels of amazing, but just the story doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just a great time. The jokes land almost every time, and this is not animation for the kids. So let me say that again. This is not animation for the kids, but it is a great time. If you enjoy fantasy series, if you enjoy Dungeons and Dragons, if you enjoy adult animation, you owe it to yourself to watch The Legend of Vox Machina. It is just fun. The jokes are as inappropriate as they can be, as raunchy as they can be, and without filter. I can't say enough about how much I enjoyed this series. So now on to number 2. Number 2, Reacher. Reacher is an American crime thriller series developed by Nick Santora and produced by Amazon Studios, based on the Jack Reacher book series by Lee Child. It stars Alan Ritchson as Jack Reacher, a drifter and former MP who is visiting a rural town in Georgia and finds himself arrested for murder. This series is not a continuation, nor is it related to the Tom Cruise films of the same name, and is a far more faithful adaptation of the source material. The cast in this series is super diverse, and yet it's not obnoxious, nor is it trying to fulfill any type of diversity and inclusion quotas in the way that the series is presented. What makes it fascinating is that it came out of Amazon Studios, and yet it is in fact starring a white male protagonist, something that you don't really see, and is actually going against some of the mandates set forth by Amazon Prime Video. The action in this series is definitely top notch. Some of the people that you'll find familiar are like Kristen Creek from Smallville is in this series, and Malcolm Goodwin, who plays the lead detective in this series, who also played lead detective in iZombie. So those will be the recognizable faces, but all the side characters and all the co-stars do an excellent job. The only knock I have against this series really is that sometimes the dialogue is a little corny, but you get over that rather quickly. The action scenes are fantastic, definitely reminiscent of a series like Banshee. And the mystery will definitely keep you guessing as far as the goings-on behind the little town of Musgrave as you're going through the series. I definitely recommend this if you're looking for a fun thriller-type series. that, is just trying to tell a mystery story and is not really caught up with the politics of today or anything of the sort. No real social issues. There is a little bit of talk of, just the racial makeup of the town, but being that it is in a small town in Georgia, which I am from, so I can definitely understand, it's definitely realistic. So it's really just a series that if you want to watch something that really has almost no place in current year television, something that you would have probably been more likely to see in the late 90s or early 2000s, Reacher is definitely a great bet. And as far as like Alan Ritchson playing Jack Reacher, he definitely fits the role perfectly as far as his physicality and just screen presence. I can't really say enough good things about Jack Reacher. I enjoyed it, and I'm gonna go for a second watch just because that's how much I enjoyed it. So now we're gonna get on to the biggest one of them all, number one. So saving the best for last, we have the Epix original series at number one. The series is called From. From is a science fiction horror series produced by the Russo brothers. It premiered on Epix February 20th of 2022. In a seemingly normal Midwestern town, it's easy enough to get in, but you'll never be able to leave. And at night, monstrous beings come out to devour the citizens of the town. This series stars Harold Perrineau as Sheriff Boyd Stevens, Ian Bailey as Jim Matthews, Catalina Sandino Moreno as Tabitha Matthews, and Sean Majumder as Father Khatri. So I fell in love with this series from episode one. If you enjoyed the first 2 seasons of Lost, you will love this series. And what makes that even more ironic is that there are a lot of people behind the scenes that worked on the original Lost that are a part of this series. This series truly has diversity, and not just diversity of race or of sex, but diversity of character, backgrounds, and of thoughts and of perspective. In a situation in which every night could be your last, these characters really do live their lives to the fullest every day to try and not only survive the night, but also possibly find a way home. And it is such a great series when it comes to family, when it comes to being estranged from loved ones and really making the best out of a bad situation. I can't tell you how much I enjoy this series. I actually recap it every single week that it comes on. And I just couldn't be more delighted with this series. I especially love Harold Perrineau in this particular series. He does a great job carrying the lead of this series. He's just amazing. And honestly, if you really love sci-fi, if you love horror, if you love a good mystery, you will love this series. This definitely snuck up on me, and it was definitely the sleeper hit of quarter one of 2022. There's very little, if almost none. Well, no, there really isn't any identity politics in this series that I can think of. Nothing is really heavy-handed. There are no real themes of the day or, trying to send the message in this series. And that's really the through line between all 5 of these series. If you really are just trying to watch something and be entertained and get out of everything that's going on and, being beat over the head with somebody else preaching at you, these 5 series are definitely where it's at. I actually have reviewed all of these series, so the links to those videos will be in the description as well as at the end of the video. And with that being said, that'll be it for this one, guys. 8-Bit Heroes out. See you on the next one. Let me know what you thought about these series in the comments section. Peace. Want to give a big 8-Bit Heroes welcome to Tim F. Big shouts out to you. Welcome to the 8-Bit Heroes family. If you'd like to get a shout out on the channel, then hit that like button, maybe share it with a couple of friends, and do us the biggest honor of all, and subscribe to the channel so you can join the 8-Bit Heroes family. And while you're at it, hit that bell icon so you can be notified when our new videos come out.